So you want to know if you should become a teacher. Well, this video is going to be the realest video ever. As a teacher, I see a lot of stuff up here and no shade to anybody's content, but sometimes I feel like they're not telling you the full story and you watch a couple feel good videos and think this is the profession for you, but you need to know the full story, all right? You probably grew up working with kids, probably tutoring. Maybe you were the kid in class that helped out all the other kids because you were done with your work early. You might be a high school student trying to figure out what to do next. You might already be an education major figuring out if it's worth it to stick to this. You might be a student teacher saying, "Oh my goodness, what did I get myself into?" Or you probably fresh out of college and you're probably like, "Yeah, I don't know if this is what I want to do." If any of those describe you, I think you should stick to this video. To be honest, I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but I promise it'll be shorter than a 3-hour education course. So before we get started, I think it's important for me to let you know my credentials. Okay, so I am a teacher in northern New Jersey, United States, and I am going into my 6th year of teaching. My certifications are P3 K6. All right. My first year of teaching, I was a 2nd grade basic skills teacher. I did not have my own classroom. I just pushed in with the 2nd grade teachers and helped out their low performing students, especially with reading and writing. So year 2 through 5, I'm at a different school and I was teaching primarily ELA and social studies. Now this 6th year, I'm still at the same school. I am also a gen ed teacher. I do not have any special ed certifications. So I decided I'm going to start off with the cutesy stuff, the goody goody stuff that everybody sees on the outside. Okay, when it comes to teaching, there's a lot of things that people see, and it's just like, oh, this looks like a cool job. This looks like so much fun. I want to do this. Let's start with that stuff. All right. So first of all, let's talk about the fact that you get to inspire others. Y'all, teaching is a job that you receive lots of intrinsic rewards. You receive a lot of rewards, a lot of internal accomplishments. You just feel good on the inside with this job. When you help a student reach a new milestone, when you help a student finally get that math problem, when you help that student like writing. Before he came to your class, he didn't like writing, hated it. Now he loves it. It's a wonderful feeling. And you inspire these students to be their best selves. You inspire them to reach for their dreams, their goals. And that's one part that I appreciate about the job. I love helping the kids just do things that they thought they could never do. I mean, I've seen it so many times where they're like, "Oh, Miss Pierre, I can't do that." I'm like, "Okay, I bet you can." And with some push and some encouragement, they do it. They reach that goal. And guess what? Now they feel more confident to tackle something else. So it's a wonderful feeling when you have to know that you play a role in a child's life in that way. It's a wonderful feeling. The next thing is, y'all, I ain't gonna lie to you, you end up being like a mini celebrity. Okay, because what happens is the longer you're teaching, the more students you know. And so when you're outside and the kids see you, "Hey, Miss Pierre, Miss Pierre," I'm like, "Hey, what's going on? What's up?" You know what I mean? And so you just feel like a little celebrity sometimes. And even sometimes I'm walking through the hallway and the siblings of my students or cousins or other relatives of my students or even friends of my students, they see me, "Miss Pierre," they calling out my name. I don't even know who these kids are, but I still say hello. And sometimes, guys, they just know of you through hearing from their family member, and they cannot wait to be in your class. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Miss Pierre teaches 5th grade. I'm in 3rd grade. So I have to go 2 more years before I'm in Miss Pierre's class." And they do that, but they cannot wait to be in Miss Pierre's class. And y'all, I ain't gonna lie, my class be popping. So of course you'd want to be in my class. But seriously, that's a great part of the job. It's just you feel, at least I do. I feel like a little celebrity sometimes walking through the halls because the kids stop. They got to say hi to me. Some of these kids, I have no idea where I know them from or whatever, but they know me. So, I still say what's up. The next thing is, y'all, this relates to the last thing, is the love that you get from the kids is amazing. They really, really, really love you. Guys, sometimes you are the only stable person that a child has. their home situation is upside down, their home situation is a hot mess, and you as a teacher, they know when I come to school I'm going to see Miss Pierre, I'm going to see this teacher whenever I come to school. It gives them stability, it helps them feel secure, they feel safe and sound because they know that you're going to be there when they come to school. They look forward to seeing you, for the most part. Okay. And so it feels good, and because of that, they show you so much love. They give you notes, drawings. Sometimes they just bring you gifts. Depending on the season, they'll get you stuff, and it just feels good to know that your students are looking at you in that way. And even sometimes you feel like, am I reaching these kids? Am I actually doing anything with these kids? And they surprise you. They show you that, yes, you are doing something with me. I appreciate you. And it's a wonderful thing, especially when Teacher Appreciation Week rolls around, and they give you their sentiments. It's a nice feeling. And I mean, love, I don't think anybody could put a price on love. It's just a wonderful thing, especially from children. It's a nice feeling to know, they feel that way about you. Next, the schedule. On the outside, people see the schedule and they're always like, wow, teachers have all these days off. Oh my goodness, they're off weekends, they're off holidays, they have all these breaks, and they think that we get off at 3 o'clock. So, to a person on the outside, that is something that might attract them to the teaching profession. They feel like, oh my gosh, the schedule's so amazing. I have to have this schedule. I want my summers off. I want to be able to have all these days off and still get paid. People think like that. And so, but there's so much to the teacher's schedule that people don't know about. And I'll get into that in the second portion of this video. Another good thing about teaching is the opportunities for loan forgiveness. If you teach in a Title I district for at least 5 years, you have the opportunity to get up to $17,500 of your loans forgiven. Now, of course, they say up to. So there's stipulations. It depends on what subject you were teaching in, because if it's a high need subject, then you're more likely get a higher loan forgiveness. So, for example, math and science are subjects that are considered high needs because not many teachers are going into the field to teach those subjects. So you would actually be considered one of the higher, you would actually be one of the ones to get a higher loan forgiveness than somebody like me who teaches ELA. ELA is not considered high needs because a lot of people go into teaching ELA. It's the math and science teachers they're really, really scrambling for. So that's a good opportunity if you're looking to get some loans forgiven. Now you do have to put in, again, 5 years of service. Some people don't make it that far. As a matter of fact, 50% of teachers quit within the first 5 years of teaching. So if you can thug it out and make it through, to the fifth year, finish your 5 years, then you could get your loans, some of your loans forgiven. That's one of the perks of being a teacher. All right. Let's talk about the real stuff, okay? So first of all, let's talk about pay. We have to talk about pay because this determines the rest of your life. What you bring in home every day determines a lot. All right. So first of all, we always hear that teachers don't get paid enough, and it's true. All right. Depending on the state that you're living in, cost of living varies from place to place, but average starting salary in the state of New Jersey with bachelor's degree, no experience, is in the 50s. Now, it might sound like a lot, like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But when you compare your credentials and your education and your degree to people who, have the same amount of education as you and probably do half the work, and they're getting paid twice the amount of money that you're making, you start feeling some type of way. Now, I know people like to say things like, oh, well, it shouldn't matter how much you make as long as you love what you do. No. Because guess what? Basketball players love what they do and they're making millions of dollars. A lot of entertainers love what they do and they're making millions of dollars. And not that I'm saying teachers are equal to entertainers or better than or less than. That's not the point I'm making. The point is, what's wrong with doing something you love and getting paid good money for it? So with teaching, you're not going to be rich doing this profession. Something that I did not even know until I actually got my first teaching job was steps. So I didn't know anything about steps. So steps basically is where they start you off when you start teaching. So me, I had a bachelor's degree, no teaching experience. So they started me at step 1. All right. But if I had experience, let's say I had already had 3 years of teaching, they would have started me at step 4. Okay. So it depends on where you're starting. It depends on your experience. Now, if I had some credits towards a master's degree, they would have honored that. That probably would have got me starting at a higher step. So this is something that I didn't know until I got into teaching, until I got my first teaching job, about the steps. Um, and so every year that you're teaching, you go up another step. So right now I'm in my 6th year, so I'm on step 6. I could be higher if I went to school to go get a master's degree, or if I went to school at least to get some more credits, they would move me higher. But I refuse to go back to school. I'm staying as I am. It is what it is. I'm not going back to school. So that's why me going up the steps is a little bit slower than somebody who goes to school and, you know, has a master's or doctorate. They'll definitely move way higher than me. A lot of times you're going to be spending your own money to do things for your classroom. I don't spend too much. I hear some wild stories, like teachers saying they spending thousands of dollars. I'm like, no, I'm not spending thousands of dollars on my classroom. I'm not doing that. I have done a few hundred. I think if I really sit down and just come up with an average number, I think $300 is the most I've spent. Just talk classroom supplies. Um, I'm not talking about, fun games or pizza parties. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just things to help run the classroom management stuff, decor, functional decor. It's not just there to be pretty, but like maybe it's a poster, it's a nice poster, but it's also teaching the kids something. It could serve as an anchor chart, right? So I have spent money on those things. And, over the year, between Teachers Pay Teachers, Dollar Tree, Michael's, and we cannot forget about Amazon. Okay, I spend money. So you have to keep that in mind. You have to keep that in mind when it comes to teaching. You're gonna be spending stuff out of your pocket. The thing is, though, the longer you're doing it, you're not spending as much because you can so reuse things from previous years. And if you have a teacher friends who who've been teaching a long time, a lot of them have stuff to share. I actually talk about this in my 10 tips for new teachers video, so you can check that one out as well. Also, when it comes to pay, you have to factor in mentor fees, okay? Your first year of teaching, you have to have a mentor. You are assigned a mentor your first year. A mentor is a teacher who has been teaching for a while, they're tenured, and they are assigned to help you get acclimated to the profession, to get you acclimated to being in the classroom. They're there to help you, but that's not for free. That money comes out of your paycheck, okay? So for me, when I was doing my first year, I had to pay mentor fees $1,000. I had to pay my mentor $1,000. So how they did it was they took out $100 per check, so that she was paid $1,000 over 10 months. So you do have to pay mentor fees. And in my particular school, if you were traditional route teacher, your mentor fees was $1,000. If you were a alternate route teacher, your mentor fees was $1,350. So you have to think about that as well too, your first year. So not only are you trying to furnish your classroom the first year, but you're also paying a mentor. And side note, please make sure you get mentored, because I've heard stories of mentors just running off with money. They don't really help you out like they're supposed to. Your mentor is there for you to go to about every little thing. So please take full advantage of that, and you're paying them, okay? Also, I just want to throw out there that no, we do not get paid during the summer. I don't get paid during the summer. Now, some teachers choose to put something to the side during the school year. They have the HR put money to the side out of their check. So instead of getting their full pay, they get a piece taken out for summer, so that when summer rolls around, they can get paid in the summer. I personally manage my own money. I save my own money so that I can make it through the summer with almost 3 months of no pay. That's what I do. Okay, so back to this schedule. So A lot of people think teachers have this dream schedule where they think that, we work these short days. We start work at 8, we get off at 3, life is good after that. But that is not the case. I'm going to use myself for example. My contracted hours are 6 hours and 40 minutes a day. I'm supposed to be, that's what's on my contract. And then once in the week, I have a staff meeting that's an hour. So when you do the math, I'm actually contracted to work 34 hours and 20 minutes a week. Now, that would be a dream come true if that's all I had to work during the week. Because let me tell you, my work starts before the kids get there. My work continues after the kids get there. All right. Sometimes I'm even doing work on the weekend. Now I've cut back on that a lot. A lot. I used to be working on Friday night into Saturday into Sunday. I don't do that anymore. I told myself no. If I can't get it done during the school day, oh well, I'll just pick up tomorrow, because you're gonna go crazy. And then there's days that you stay so long because you have so many things to grade papers to grade, whatever, homework to check, and all this other stuff. A lot of things going on. You're gonna go crazy. All right. So this idea that we have this perfect schedule, it's not true. Sometimes you're even working over the break. Sometimes you can't wait for fall break because you can finally catch up with some grades. You can finally catch up with some lesson plans, okay? Sometimes you can't wait for spring break or President's Day or MLK Day to get the stuff to catch up with some stuff. No disrespect to MLK, but sometimes it's the truth. Sometimes you're looking forward to those one days, those Mondays off, so that you could have a 3-day weekend to get stuff done. Okay. Sometimes you taking off of work to get work done. Teachers do that all the time. You taking off a day because if you go to work today, you ain't getting nothing done with them kids. So now you taking a day off so for you to be at home so you could catch up on work. It's like that. And I know some people could say, oh, well, it's all about time management. Let me tell you something. Teachers are some of the best time management, have some of the best time management. And even with that, you still end up swamped. You still end up overwhelmed. Even veteran teachers still struggle. So it's something, it's just a job. You just always have something to do. And they're never going to stop throwing more stuff at you. So that's something to think about with the schedule. I mean, there are those Superman teachers that just get it all done, but most of us aren't built like that. Those are those bionic teachers that they just can go and get it all done all the time. But majority of us are not built like that. And so don't compare yourself to those, because those are very few and far in between. And we can't forget about the meetings and the meetings and the meetings and more meetings and lots of meetings that you have to sit through. A lot of it sometimes is just they ain't talking about nothing. It's a huge waste of time. You're just sitting there thinking about all the things you could have been doing with this time, this hour and some change. You could have been setting up your classroom, updating bulletin boards. You could have been grading papers. You could have been calling parents. You could have been doing so many other things. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of meetings. So be prepared for that, especially if you're the type of person who don't have a long attention span. I'm telling you, make sure you keep that in mind. Lots and lots and lots of meetings. And lots and lots and lots of paperwork, especially if you're dealing with the special ed population or kids with behavior problems. The paperwork does not stop. It really goes up to the sky. And something very important to think about, how is your health? Like serious question. How is your health? How are you emotionally, physically, mentally? How are you spiritually? Where's your mind at? What do you do for self-care? Let me tell you something about this job. If you don't have a therapist, get one now. Find one immediately, because you're going to need it. You need to take care of your health. You need to be in good health. It doesn't have to be perfect health, but you have to be in good health to take on this job, because I will tell you right now, you're going to have many meltdowns, many MINI, but then also many MANY meltdowns. Okay. You're going to wish you never did this thing. What were you thinking? You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to walk away with no notice. Forget it. I don't care about my license. You're going to go through a lot of that stuff. And you need to make sure that you take care of yourself. How's your diet? This is a serious question because this job, you're pouring so much of yourself into other people. Everything that you are, whatever you come to work with, you're pouring that into these students. And so if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not making sure that you are you're full in these areas, you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to drop. All right? How is your health? What do you do? What's your spiritual routine? What's your emotional? How do you handle your emotions? How do you manage stress? How do you feel when things don't go your way? Because that's every day with teaching. Things are never going to go the way that you want. How do you handle that? How do you handle disappointment? How do you handle planning things and nothing goes the way that you thought? All right. So these are things that you have to think about. How do you handle these things? That's teaching for real. You could write the best lesson plan in the world, and all of a sudden you got this one kid that decides he wants to destroy your classroom. You ain't teaching that today. You ain't teaching that today. So these are things you have to keep in mind because it's reality. Another thing, how do you handle disrespect? Because it's coming. It's a reality of the job. It's a reality of the profession. It comes from all angles. It comes from students. It comes from fellow staff members. It comes from administration. It comes from parents who just think a lot of times they think they're better than you. They think they're above you, especially when you're a young teacher. And it's hard to, for people to take you seriously because they just look at you like you're a kid. Especially, a lot of times you deal with veteran teachers who think that they are, they've been in this game 25, 30 years, and they could talk to you any kind of way and things like that. And so you have to look out for that. It's a lot of stuff that you have to think about. You have to be prepared for kids acting up in your classroom, disrespecting you, tearing up your desk, tearing up your posters, and you send them down to the office and they come right back with a lollipop. How are you going to handle that? I hate the fact that we're in this coddle culture right now where we're just feeling extra sorry for everybody because you just don't know what he's been through. Look, I get that. I am very sensitive and empathetic towards my students. However, we need to also keep in mind that actions lead to consequences. And if you're not doing the right thing, you shouldn't be able to participate in all the fun things and all the good things in school. You shouldn't. That's life. If I'm acting up as an adult, I have to deal with the court system. I have to deal with the police. I have to deal with the law. So why is it that kids don't have to deal with that at in the school level so that they can know that this is reality? So this coddle culture that we're in, where everybody's feeling all sorry for little kids. Oh, poor Jimmy. No. Yes, Jimmy has it rough at home, but Jimmy also needs to understand he needs to respect the rules, the laws of the land, okay? Kids need to learn about accountability. This coddle culture, I'm not with it. We take away accountability and you try to, make him feel, try to everything is, oh, poor baby. No, 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 no. No, he needs to understand he's wrong and these are the consequences. But a lot of times nothing gets done and the kid just continues with the same behavior, which is irritating you for the rest of the year, irritating the kids, and you can't show up as your best self because people don't want to be accountable. And a lot of times, administrators, it's just easier for them to just send a kid back to you than to deal with talking to parents and holding meetings and all this other stuff. There's just some shady stuff that goes on for real. And please do not for a second think that this is only in Title I districts, okay? Title I districts are considered the low socioeconomic status. A lot of times they're the Black and Latino kids, the Black and brown students. And people think, oh my God, I want to go into those districts. Those districts are rough. I need you to understand that teaching is rough across the board. I don't care what race of students you teach. I don't care what socioeconomic status they have. You are going to have a tough time with this job. And sometimes even the affluent students, they give you a rough time because their parents think they own you. Because what are you, a teacher? I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a billionaire. And they look at you like you're a peasant, the peasant babysitter. So do not for a second think that it's better in those communities. The money might look a little bit, you might get a little bit more money out there in these affluent communities, these affluent schools, but trust me when I tell you the challenges are the same across the board, okay? Also, you deal with lack of support from the higher ups. The people at the top, they just give you all these commands and you're supposed to just figure it out. You're supposed to just figure it out, you know? The best way I can describe it, that's like somebody saying to you, hey, you have 3 hours to cook a 5 course meal, all right? Here's the kitchen. But they don't give you any ingredients, there's no seasoning, there's no recipe. The stove doesn't work. The fridge doesn't work. Nothing is working in this kitchen, and you're still supposed to make sure you have a 5 course meal ready in 3 hours. That's how I see teaching. They want so much out of you, but no resources, no support, no, realistic goals. It's just wild, and it's like, are you serious? Y'all, I'm telling you, you've been doing this long enough. You just, okay, all right, and you go about your day. They don't know what they talking about. A lot of times they don't know what they talking about, and the things that they ask of you to do, they can't do themselves. So to me, I'm already side eyeing you because the stuff that you ask for, you cannot even demonstrate to me. You can't even show me how to do this effectively. You're just telling me to do it because it sounds good, or because it makes you look good as an administrator, or makes you look good as a higher up. But then, you don't know how to tell me from how to go from start to finish. So this is, again, reality. This is why I told you this was gonna be the realest video, okay? They just drop you in the middle of the ocean and then you're supposed to just find your way. That's how it is. It's literally like that. And I'm not making this stuff up. And anybody who's been teaching for any amount of time can tell you straight up. I don't care if you lasted 3 months. You can corroborate what I'm saying in this video. The better you are at this job, the worse it gets for you, because now they try to put the worst kids in your class. They give you the hardest task to do because you always rise up, you always rise to the occasion. That's just you. That's just your work ethic. You put in that you're the type of person, you're gonna put in the work. You're a conqueror. You're gonna conquer whatever challenges come your way. But now you set yourself up to where they feel like they can throw any and everything at you, and with nothing more, without giving you any bigger reward than what you're already receiving. So, I remember one teacher I was working with, she was like, don't do a good job. Because they was going to keep asking you. Of course, we're not going to come to work and slack, but y'all, the extra above and beyond stuff, do it sparingly. Do it sparingly, because the minute you start being the big boss, always the top one that gets everything done, and you're always down to a T, they're gonna keep pushing more on you, and you're gonna go crazy. Okay, you're gonna burn out. And the next thing to think about, which I haven't seen anybody talk about, is that end of the year guilt. I deal with this, and what I mean by this is, school year's over, it's winding down, maybe, a few weeks left, we counting down the days and stuff. And you have that guilt of, dang, did I really do my best with these kids? Did I give them my best? Did I give them my all? Did I show up for them in the way that they needed me, in the ways that they needed me to show up? Especially if you have a kid who is leaving you and he hasn't made much progress, if any at all. That's a hard hit to take, because you're like, oh my goodness, what could I have done differently? You do struggle with that end of year guilt. I do anyway. I don't know about everybody else, but sometimes I have that feeling of, I wish I would have done more. And with me, I have fifth graders. So, we're the last grade in our school and they go off to middle school. So I especially think about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, did I prepare them well enough? Did I teach them something? What did I do to help this student, really be prepared for the next grade? That's something I struggle with, and I just want to put it out there. How do you handle, that feeling of, oh my goodness, I should have done better? Are you hard on yourself? Are you balanced when it comes to your performance, or are you a perfectionist? Everything has to be perfect. I'm telling you right now, if you're a perfectionist, you could throw that out the window right now. Don't even bring it up. it's not worth it because you're gonna go crazy as a teacher trying to be a perfectionist. All right. So hopefully everything I said in this video helped you to answer the question, should you be a teacher? Please comment below if this was helpful in any kind of way. I know myself when I was in college or even before college, I would have appreciated this kind of breakdown, this reality check, and have somebody really, really answer those questions of whether or not I want to become a teacher. So comment below, let me know if this was helpful in any way and any other thoughts you might have. Thank you so much for watching.